Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
All the plant life in a particular region or period. Pleistocene vegetation. An abnormal growth or excrescence, especially a warty excrescence on the valves of the heart. Inactivity that is passive and monotonous, comparable to the inactivity of plant life. Their holiday was spent in sleep and vegetation. The process of growth in plants. The branch of biology that studies plants. All the plant life in a particular region or period. The botany of China. Botany. A living organism lacking the power of locomotion. All the plant life in a particular region or period. The flora of Southern California. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. The act of gathering something together. Request for a sum of money. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. The act of gathering something together. A publication containing a variety of works. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. The act of accumulating. An increase by natural growth or addition. Finance. Profits that are not paid out as dividends but are added to the capital base of the corporation. A system of components assembled together for a particular purpose. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. A group of persons together in one place. The social act of assembling. Something that bulges out or is protuberant or projects from its surroundings. The bony excrescence between its horns. Pathology. An abnormal outgrowth or enlargement of some part of the body. Quiet and inactive restfulness. A state of quiet, but possibly temporary, inaction. Quiet and inactive restfulness. Lying with head on paws as if sleeping. The state of being asleep. The suspension of consciousness and decrease in metabolic rate. Quiet and inactive restfulness. A state of quiet, but possibly temporary, inaction. Quiet and inactive restfulness. A state of quiet, but possibly temporary, inaction. The volcano erupted after centuries of dormancy. Processing a photosensitive material in order to make an image visible. The development and printing of his pictures took only 2 hours. The act of making some area of land or water more profitable or productive or useful. The development of Alaskan resources. A process in which something passes by degrees to a different stage, especially a more advanced or mature stage. The development of his ideas took many years. Biology. The process of an individual organism growing organically. A purely biological unfolding of events involved in an organism changing gradually from a simple to a more complex level. He proposed an indicator of osseous development in children. Act of improving by expanding or enlarging or refining. He congratulated them on their development of a plan to meet the emergency. A district that has been developed to serve some purpose. Such land is practical for small park developments. A recent event that has some relevance for the present situation. Recent developments in Iraq. A state in which things are improving. The result of developing, as in the early part of a game of chess. After he saw the latest development, he changed his mind and became a supporter. Music, the section of a composition or movement, especially in sonata form, where the major musical themes are developed and elaborated. Biology, the process of an individual organism growing organically. A purely biological unfolding of events involved in an organism changing gradually from a simple to a more complex level. Biology, the process of an individual organism growing organically. A purely biological unfolding of events involved in an organism changing gradually from a simple to a more complex level. Coming to full development, becoming mature. Medicine, the formation of morbific matter in an abscess or a vesicle and the discharge of pus. Biology, the process of an individual organism growing organically. A purely biological unfolding of events involved in an organism changing gradually from a simple to a more complex level. The gradual beginning or coming forth. Biology, the process of an individual organism growing organically. A purely biological unfolding of events involved in an organism changing gradually from a simple to a more complex level. A process of becoming larger or longer or more numerous or more important. The growth of population. A progression from simpler to more complex forms. The growth of culture. Pathology, an abnormal proliferation of tissue, as in a tumor. Something grown or growing. A growth of hair. Vegetation that has grown. A growth of trees. Biology, the process of an individual organism growing organically. A purely biological unfolding of events involved in an organism changing gradually from a simple to a more complex level. Electronics, the production of semiconductor crystals by slow crystallization from the molten state. Relating to or suitable for growth. The growing season for corn. Establish a forest on previously unforested land. Afforest the mountains. The trees and other plants in a large densely wooded area. Land that is covered with trees and shrubs. Eurasian rose with prickly stems and fragrant leaves and bright pink flowers followed by scarlet hips. Tangled mass of prickly plants. Evergreen tree-like Mediterranean shrub having fragrant white flowers in large terminal panicles and hard woody roots used to make tobacco pipes. A very prickly woody vine of the eastern United States growing in tangled masses having tough round stems with shiny leathery leaves and small greenish flowers followed by clusters of inedible shiny black berries. A thorny stem or twig. Tangled mass of prickly plants. Tangled mass of prickly plants. The act of feeding by continual nibbling. Look around casually and randomly, without seeking anything in particular. Browse a computer directory. Shop around. Not necessarily buying. Feed as in a meadow or pasture. Reading superficially or at random. Eat lightly, try different dishes. Vegetation, such as young shoots, twigs, and leaves, that is suitable for animals to eat. A deer needs to eat 20 pounds of browse every day. The act of brushing your teeth. The dentist recommended 2 brushes a day. A dense growth of bushes. The act of brushing your hair. He gave his hair a quick brush. Momentary contact. Sweep across or over. Her long skirt brushed the floor. A minor short-term fight. A bushy tail or part of a bushy tail, especially of the fox. An implement that has hairs or bristles firmly set into a handle. Clean with a brush. She brushed the suit before hanging it back into the closet. Conducts current between rotating and stationary parts of a generator or motor. Contact with something dangerous or undesirable. I had a brush with danger on my way to work. Cover by brushing. Brush the bread with melted butter. Remove with or as if with a brush. Brush away the crumbs. Rub with a brush, or as if with a brush. Johnson brushed the hairs from his jacket. Touch lightly and briefly. He brushed the wall lightly. A dense growth of bushes. The wood from bushes are small branches. They built a fire of brushwood. 43rd President of the United States, son of George Herbert Walker Bush, born in 1946. Not of the highest quality or sophistication. United States electrical engineer who designed an early analog computer and who led the scientific program of the United States during World War II, 1890 to 1974. Dense vegetation consisting of stunted trees or bushes. Vice President under Reagan and 41st President of the United States, born in 1924. A low woody perennial plant usually having several major stems. Hair growing in the pubic area. A large wilderness area. Provide with a bushing. Dense vegetation consisting of stunted trees or bushes. A dense growth of bushes. A dense growth of bushes. A plot of ground where plants are cultivated. A yard or lawn adjoining a house. The flowers or vegetables or fruits or herbs that are cultivated in a garden. The usual or familiar type. It is a common or garden sparrow. Work in the garden. My hobby is gardening. Low-growing plants planted in deep shade or on a steep slope where turf is difficult to grow. Small plants other than saplings growing on a forest floor.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.